Sai Ram. I'd like to begin this session with 3 ohms, so it helps us all connect once again, come back to the center. It's a different energy when we use our bodies and have fun, and now it's a different energy, so we harness that, embrace that experience, not try and shut it out, but embrace it, and then become more mindful of where we are, so we transition into yet another phase. The discovery of the Sathya within still continues this afternoon. Just as little Sathya unleashed his divine potential at the age of 13 and 14. I think age does not matter when it comes to listening and following the divine call. So don't beat yourself up if you're over 60 and say, oh my gosh, what did I do when I was 15, or what have I done with my life? It really doesn't matter. We're not talking of one lifetime and a few decades here and there. We're talking of many lifetimes of evolution. So when the call comes, it is always at the right time, at the right moment in our evolution of the spirit, where the divine has exhaled us into existence, and when he inhales, he draws us all back. So the time has come for all us to go back home, and we help each other finding our way back. Understanding Swami's personality, understanding his the little nuances of his personality, like I shared with you all, helped me explore and break my conditioned mindset. And I want to continue that a little more. Because it was a few of us who, as students, as devotees who were close to him, had a chance to explore this part of his divine personality. When I hear stories, when I visit your home and I see Vibhuti materializing on altars and pictures, I see a different Swami, and I wonder, is this the Swami I knew? It seemed like poles apart, and yet it was the same. It was the same Krishna who was with the Gopikas, and it was the same Krishna who showed his cosmic form to Arjuna. It was the same Krishna that fought the war as well. So it is the same Swami in different aspects of his personality. So allow me to indulge this side of Swami that he so graciously exposed to all of us. We were talking of plays and how I got glimpses into this phenomenal personality of Swami, which wasn't like any other. And so here was another drama played during the 60th birthday. It was a Telugu drama, and Swami had chosen a Telugu drama that Swami had written when he was very young, when he was a little Sathya. He wrote this drama. So when he heard we were writing the English play, Swami said, I also want to put up a Telugu play, and I have written this play. And believe it or not, he went up to his room, he brought an old tattered notebook, and he opened it with his own handwriting, the script written with his own hand. And he said, see, I also write plays. Much better play than yours. And he showed them. I don't know if that book is even preserved now, I'm not sure, but it was such a beautiful thing to even touch that book, to see how Swami cherished those little books that he wrote. It wasn't an announcement, this will be for posterity or anything like that. It was a simple thing. I wrote, I want to cherish, just like some of us keep our old school pictures, I guess, or college pictures, or things like that. So he bought out that book, he opened it, and he read out the script. What was it? It was Radha Krishna, drama on Radha Krishna, the love that Radha had for Krishna, the pining that she had for Krishna. And so Swami had also written songs, 4-liners, simple songs, simple tunes that Radha would sing, that the village folk, boys and girls would sing, seeing Krishna. The story was about Krishna coming to the village, and Radha is pining for him, and Radha sings a song, and then he comes and the other folks sing a song. So there were a lot of little singing pieces here and there. He picked up a boy to play the role of Radha. And because he was very good, a classically trained singer, he was the newfound bhajan singer in the group. You know, every time as the boys grew, a new singer comes, everybody is excited. Swami is even more excited than anyone else. Oh my God! And he makes that boy sing again and again and again. Much like you hear Ravi Kumar. You probably all know Ravi Kumar, whose most of his chants we hear on audio. The very first time Swami came to the hostel, this boy sang Oma, Oma. There was a Hindi film song. It was Oma, Oma, Sai Ma. We put a Sai there and made it a Sai song. But then it's a very touching song on mother's love. And Swami was so touched with that young boy, 6th grader, singing that song, that what you see with Ravi Kumar today is completely, Swami took him and molded him into what he is today. And thus it was that this boy had come and Swami picked him up for Radha. And during the course of those rehearsals where he would first sit with us and ask us to read out our scripts in his interview room, and then we would rehearse in the play, and he would come and watch how we do it, the acting part of it. And so there was a lot of reading of our script sitting with Swami in his room. And so in the course of that, he started teaching this boy how the song is sung. And I can't speak for that boy, but what we witnessed was very unique, because this boy was very well trained in singing, and the tunes were extremely simple. I still remember just one simple line, for example, Re pe sudinam manaku, aha, aha. Tomorrow is a beautiful day, aha, aha. Okay, if I were to translate that, it's as simple as that. It's a Telugu song. Now, for a classical trained good bhajan singer, it's like a walk in the park, correct? So he sings. And Swami listens, and Swami says, no, no, no. And then Swami repeats, and the boy repeats. We, as onlookers, find zero difference between the way Swami is singing and the boy is singing. Because the boy is so focused, he repeats it exactly the way Swami says. And Swami says, no, no. And Swami repeats this line, and the boy repeats that line. It goes on for 40 minutes or so. Swami is not happy. What is he looking for? We don't know. We're like, wait a minute, he's doing good. Come on, let's move on. Swami, it's boring. No, 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 it's not good. Sing. And so Swami again explains the scene to him and asks him to sing again. And that went on with every song, and Swami really grilled this boy into that learning. At that point, I didn't understand what Swami was looking for. Not have I understood it today, but my guess is he was looking for some emotional connection to that song rather than just singing it in the way it's just any song has to be. It's not about notes and scales and the perfection of that technicality, but there was something else he was looking for. That's not the end of the story. That in itself was a very new thing for all of us. Because if you and I were to write a play and a boy sings well, okay, good, now who's next? We have other headaches to resolve, not worry about feelings of this child and all of that, right? But Swami was so particular about these small little things. And I think we need to take home that point. In our discovery of who we are, pay attention to the small things. The small things matter. The small things matter. Again, if you think I'm preaching, I'm going to go back why I say this. Because it's from Swami, I learned this. So, he comes to the rehearsal, and by the time we have practiced this time and again, we are boys as discussing, and And I was also I did the English play, and I was also had a role in the Telugu play. I was the mother-in-law of Radha. I told you, I got all the villainous roles. And I made Swami laugh a lot, of course, because I'm cursing Radha. You know, like that. That was my dialogue. I will not forget that because I repeated it so many times. You know. So when we met after these and we heard Swami is going to start coming for rehearsals, we had a talk. We said, hey, listen, you're an amazing singer, but you're going to be dressed as Radha on the stage. So if you sing with your male voice, it may not gel. Right? Right? Yeah. Somebody dressed in Gagra and Choli and comes running towards Krishna and says, Krishna. You know, it doesn't gel, correct? Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. It doesn't gel. So we said, hey, why don't you just kind of fake it, like, you have your feeling and all that, but just make it a female voice. He was very talented. He said, yeah, I'll do that. Maybe, yeah, even I feel embarrassed to sing like that. And so Swami came for the rehearsal. He sees a little bit of the English play, then he's tired of the rowdy scene. Okay, next. So these boys come in, and then this boy comes running, looks at Krishna and sings a song. Swami listens, and this time he had changed his, not like the way he sang in front of Swami in the interview room, but he changed because, quote unquote, we have to be practical, realistic. So he changed his voice a little bit. And Swami listened and saw that, and Swami immediately called him, Ikadra, come here. Your voice is not good? What happened? You got a cold or something? He said, no, Swami, my voice is... Then why it sounds very odd from... What happened to it? Then he's like, no, Swami, it was because I'm doing a lady's role. I want to sing like a lady. Dhunabada, who told you this? And he looks at me because I gave him this idea. He looked back and I hid behind the curtains. But Swami said, who gave you this idea? Who told you all this? You don't want to do this? Go away. He said, no, Swami, I want to sing. No. Sing like the way you sing normally. So on 60th birthday, with thousands of people watching, here is a boys' drama, and this boy, dressed up as a girl, comes running and sings in perfectly beautiful male voice. It never gelled with anyone who watched it, among the boys at least. And to this day, this boy feels embarrassed when I tell this story, so I won't mention his name. It really doesn't matter, right, at this point. But the point there is, there was one person who was extremely happy. Everything was exactly how he wanted. And that was Swami. What does he see? How does he see things? He sees things in a very, very different way than you and I. That perception, the Chupulu, he said, right? Change your perception. There will be no difference between you and me. Why are we so concerned about what others will think, and we compromise on the genuineness of who we are? We compromise on our integrity because we want to fit into what the society expects, what others expect. We change who we are. We try to fit in. As young children, we want to fit in because, Mom, he has a cycle, I need a cycle too, or he has an iPad 3 and I don't know what that is, i14, 18 or 17, whatever. And then we want what others have. We want to fit in, and we want to, when we keep growing, we are still trying to fit in. We dress the way others dress. We speak the way everybody expects us to speak. Even when we buy things now, we look at what others talk about. So we look at reviews, which is good, by the way. But then to a large extent, we are depending so much on what others think about a product or about a movie. We decide to watch a movie based on how many reviews it has got. If a movie comes out and there's only 1 star, we'll put it in the back burner. We won't even think, let me see if I really like it or not. We'll say, that's 1 star. Let's go for some 4-star, 5-star movies. The idea is we're so caught up about what others think. We never ask, what is it that I want? What is it that I want there? And that's what we saw with Swami. He was uncompromising in who he was. Uncompromising. For every 10 devotees that came to him, this is an open known fact, for every 10 people who came, there were 100 who didn't. There was 1,000 who didn't. Even though we have thousands of devotees, there are millions of people, billions of people in the world. How many of them were exposed to him? in these days where we want to be popular, we want more hits on our videos, and we want more views on our Instagrams, or we want more people in the centers, and we somehow have this thing that growth means more numbers, more people. In that, we begin to compromise who we are, because we are trying to run after numbers. We are trying to chase some figures which make no sense. And that we compromise who we are. Not all the time, but most of the time. We need to ask ourselves, each one of us have to ask us this question: where have I compromised myself? Where have I wanted to do something but didn't do because everybody else was doing something else? And this stark example of Swami, this is one among the so many that Swami put out there, saying, I want it to be a genuine, heartfelt song that boy should feel that he is Radha pining for Krishna. I want to see that pine. I want to feel it. How can I feel it if he's putting an artificial voice? It's God-given talent, his voice. Let that find its expression. The external dress, Swami did not see the external dress at all. He was looking at that emotion that boy was bringing out, and he was joyously enjoying that emotion. Only somebody steeped in divinity can go to that extent, because for them that compromise would have mean he would have compromised everything else. But it was that uncompromising Sai that inspired us, inspired me. Mysterious, phenomenal, bold, uncompromising. That is the who am I Swami wants us to ask. Forget the idea of Atma and Paramatma. If that's too abstract, let that be. But at this point, ask yourself, my likes and dislikes, have they all been shaped by somebody else? Or is it my own? When we as youngsters, or we say, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, I need to ask myself, who said this I am? Who is this I am? This I am definition of who I think I am, is it been told to me and I've just borrowed it from everybody and somehow assumed an identity? Or am I in this path of discovery? If I keep myself from defining who I am and I keep this question on who am I keep discovering more and more. And therefore this question is kind of an irony, because you shouldn't have an answer at the end of it. If you have, your search is incomplete. The I am keep searching, keep rediscovering who you are, keep redefining who you are. Keep stripping yourself of all the peripheralness that we absorbed in our lives. And then you will find yourself getting closer and closer to Swami. The little things that Swami paid attention to during these plays, in addition to the little things that he always paid attention to, again gave me a glimpse into this divine nature of Swami. The largest things in life is achieved, the greatest projects in life are achieved, the greatest missions in life are realized when we learn to pay attention to the smallest aspects of our life. Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. The Vedanta says God is in the atom as much as in the microscopic atom, as much as he is in the macrocosm. And that has to reflect in our words. If we are looking for God in the macrocosm, then let's look for him in the microcosm. If we look to achieve big things in life, then let's look at our own small little behaviors, the small little reactions, the small little habits, the small little things that we do, the small little irritations in our mind we think nobody else knows, the small little guilts that we have that we think nobody will know. Those are the biggest stumbling blocks that become boulders that we can't push as we move forward in our lives. I learned this with Swami. I learned to respect that, because when I would sit back and say, how does he do this? How does he meet vice chancellors who are so far more quote unquote educated than him? Right? I saw this with my own eyes. An 8th grade dropout comes, opens the interview room door, comes out with all his love. He says, please come. And whom is he inviting? 27 vice chancellors of the top universities all across India, the University Grants Commission, because he wants to talk to them about his vision of free education, about his vision of a university. How do you do that? Where does that confidence come from? I was nervous for Swami when I was watching him, like, what would Swami talk to them? Swami had picked up a few of us a few days before that, 27 or 26 or 27 of them had come, and he had picked up 27 boys. He said, I want you to take care of each. Each one of us was put in charge of each vice chancellor. He said, when they say good morning, say good morning. Don't say Sai Ram, Sai Ram. They won't understand. Be in your best clothes. So he gave us white pants and white shirts. It's get yourself stitched. Be neat. They have to see you and know what I'm doing. No pressure. And then we interacted. We knew how eminent people they were from that country. And they had a lot of questions. But then Swami calls them into his room. The irony is this school dropout is sitting on a chair and they are sitting on a floor. The body language is amazing, right? Nobody knows what happened in that 45 minutes, but he comes out after that, he comes to us and says, who wants a degree in Swami's university? All of us raise our hands because we were in our second year of graduation. The college was at that time attached or affiliated to the Sri Venkateswara University because we were just 3 colleges. You don't get a university degree status with just 1 or 2 or 3 colleges. You need more. That is what they told Swami. And we raised our hands and Swami said, you will all get. And we were so happy that we will be the first to get the degrees in Swami's, the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. I was sitting with Swami when Swami asked this question to a few elderly devotees, very well read. One was a scientist, one was an educationist from Bangalore, one was Professor Gokak, who was the first vice chancellor. Before the university was formed, I was sitting at Swami's feet and Swami was talking to them. I was simply pressing Swami's feet. I wasn't part of this conversation or anything because I was just a young boy, but I was listening. And Swami asked them, so we have a college in Anantapur, we have a college in Bangalore, we have a college now is coming up in Puttaparthi. This is barely 1.5 years or 1 year after the college starts in Puttaparthi because the building is not yet complete. The dorms are not yet complete. Some of the classes are being held in Ishrambai school still. It's all over the place, right? And Swami is saying, so what does it take to have it as a university? What will it take? So the elderly educationists, they clear their throat and they respectfully bend forward and lay their laundry list of things that need to be achieved before you do this. You see how our mind works. We need to have logical approach. We are taught to plan, set out goals and this and that. I'm not saying all that is bad, but just consider the context here, how divinity views it. What is that perspective of God? And so they say, Swami, for the laboratory we need certain kinds of microscope. They gave a list of them. Laser stuff we need in this laboratories. We need X number of libraries. We need to have at least minimum number of colleges across length and breadth of the country, this and that. And Swami cut them short because it was just going on. Cut them short because I thought he didn't understand after a point what was going on. That's my thought. Swami said, okay. Like, okay, I don't know where you're going with this. Swami said, then what happens? He cut them short and said, then what happens? Then they said, Swami, once all this is in place, then the University Grants Commission will come. What is that commission? Swami, about 26, 27 esteemed professors, vice chancellors from all around India will come and they will inspect whether you meet the criteria for the university and they'll decide whether to give you the university status. Oh. Then call them. So I'm sitting at Swami's feet. I'm like, he didn't understand at all. Because Swami is that innocent. I think there's a beauty in that divine innocence. That innocence of Krishna that we are taught in Bhagavatam, don't take it lightly. It is not like any child's innocence. There is a divinity in that innocence. There's fearlessness in that innocence. Why not go straight for it? Why, if they are the ones who are to give us, then go straight to them. And then these devotees said, yes, Swami, but what about the laundry list? Adi parale, that, yeah, we can see, but first call them. This birthday is coming, call them. It seemed like you're walking into why are you dooming your own step? You know, it's like There was no way this seemed going to, there was no way there was even a bright light at the end of the tunnel. It just seemed a wrong plan completely, because he broke all that we thought was necessary to follow, a logical step to follow. He just broke this, call them. What will they come and see? We don't have anything to show. Call them. And once Swami says call them, you have to. Right? And so they came. They saw the unfinished buildings. That's when Swami said, put on your best behavior. And they came and Swami spoke to them. I think Swami spoke to them, because I don't know. He would have shared with them the vision. Because they all said yes. Right? How does he do that? There wasn't a magic that we saw. There wasn't that he did a mass hypnotism. Pardon me for saying these things, but I'm just simply tickling that part of the brain that might feel there must be something he did. No, there wasn't. The reason I'm saying that is that's what makes it relatable, that we can also do what he did. All we need to search for is what was that? What was that divinity? What was that in him that sparked? Let's go straight to what is required. Who's going to make the decision? Let's go straight to that and let's get it done. I don't have time to wait for all this to happen. And the university was formed. And yet it was the same Swami on the other side. When Isaac Tigret had $12 million sitting, he waited 18 years. So you see, there are both sides. We have to weigh both sides, right? We just can't say Swami did that, so let's plan something. Let's build a school. Brother Sundar shared the story. Let's go blindly jump into it. We can't imitate Swami on the outside. We cannot. We need to ask, do we have that conviction to stand by whatever we are doing, because it comes from a very deep place within. So it's not about externally copying Swami. Swami did it, so I should do it. It cannot be like that. So on the other side, you have Isaac Tigret sitting with $10 or $12 million, Hard Rock Cafe, and he wants to give to Swami, and he waits, right? His story is he waits. Just an ordinary devotee is waiting for more than 1.5 decades. It was a drama called Bhaja Govindam. And Adi Shankara, one of the bhajan singers, my colleague who did the PhD with me, again, a very, very good singer, he was chosen to be the Adi Shankara. And then he had disciples, some of them other bhajan singers, because Swami could bring all the Bhaja Govindam stanzas, and he gave everyone a chance to sing. I was the proud Pandit who gets humbled by Adi Shankara. Well, I'd rather be a villain in Swami's play than a hero in any other part of the world. So Swami was very happy with the drama, the way it flowed. We had a chance to write it play by play. And it's a very beautiful play. Different stanzas. We saw the depth of Swami's understanding of application of Vedanta principles in everyday life. Excuse me. And when it came to my scene, we are, again, the two rowdies were the two Pandits. Swami somehow kind of said, all right, you two guys can be the Pandits. So among the 4 Pandits, 2 of us from the rowdy scene, 3 of us from the rowdy scene became the proud Pandits as well. And I was the head of that, the Kashi Vishwanath Pandit. And I had a sloka to sing in the beginning. Oh, I'm having a conference, we are all learned scholars, and then Ashtavakra comes. Ashtavakra is a sage who is deformed, and he comes and then we make fun of him, and then Adi Shankara comes and says this external deformity is nothing, look at the internal wisdom, and so on. That was kind of the gist of that. So I sing a welcome sloka to the Pandits, and each one introduces themselves. That kind of the humorous part of the play, if you will. Swami had a ball laughing at each one of us coming as Pandits and pretending that we know everything. It was a sattvic form of villainy, if you will. Very beautifully, a few days before, Swami liked it so much that we did it for the Vice Chancellor's Conference in Puttaparthi many years later. Again, a lot of Vice Chancellors came. There was a good conference for Swami's educational principles and so on. And so we did this. Everybody loved it so much. Swami loved it so much that he said, I will take them around. So he took us to Bangalore, Bombay, the whole drama group we went, with Swami. That was, again, a very beautiful experience. So in Bangalore, just before the drama, he called 2 of us who were leading in that. He said, you all are Pandits, so where are your bangles? the Vedic Pandits wear a bangle as a mark of wisdom. They are thick, not like the kadai or the Punjabis wear, but it's more of a golden a bangle that worn as a mark of highest respect and knowledge and so on. So we didn't even know such a thing is there, right? We just looked at Swami, we said, we don't know Swami. Swami said, Dunno pata, you're all saying you're Kashi Vishwanatham and you are from Mathura and you don't even have that kankanam. Swami would call it in Telugu or Tamil, you call it kankanam. Kankanam leda meeku. You don't have a kankanam in your, you did so much research for costumes and all that. So here is how, unfortunately, I had a lot of those pictures, but they all eaten by termites within 3 years after I left Puttaparthi. So I don't have anything to show you about these dresses, but then you will get an idea. The Pandits were, we had this is called a kurta in India, right? And this is full sleeve. So we had a colorful silk kurta, which was full sleeve, covering us right up to here. On top of that, Swami had given us Vedic shawls. So we had those shawls that you would see in the Vedic Veda chanting. They had these highly decorated stuff, and Swami had himself put on us graciously, and I have one of them. So Swami put it on us, and so that covers it fully. So we are completely covered, literally. So nobody in their wildest and the most critique in the audience would not say, I wonder if he's wearing that kankanam inside that. You wouldn't even think. And we are there for 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes, our scene is over. We come, do something, Adi Shankara comes, he takes over. So I'm saying this because when we organize plays, when we organize programs, we say, yeah, this is too small, don't worry about that. Nobody's going to bother about it, right? We kind of ignore it. Oh, that little thing, just push it behind. No, nothing's wrong there. I'm just giving an example. It's a very beautiful altar. At home, we do that, right? The guests are coming, oh, yes, just put it in that closet, shut the closet. Nobody will come there. Put a vacuum cleaner outside or something. So it wasn't even that it was that we were trying to cover something that was missing. It was just, it lacked the authenticity in his eyes. It lacked the authenticity of a Pandit. Just like Radha's voice mattered to Swami, these are Pandits. They are saying they are from Kashi Vishwanath. Then they should be in his mind, in his eyes, in his vision, perhaps they had that. So he asked, do you have the kankanam? He said, no, Swami. And very graciously he goes into his room. He brings out 2 golden kankanams. He says, show me your hand. And then I rest my hand because I rest my hand on his belly. Swami rested on his belly. You have to split it open and then put it, and there's a small pin. And you put it, and he puts it, and he pushes it all the way up till here because it's fairly big and loose. Even to this day, it doesn't stay. And he pushes it all the way up till here. He pulls the kurta over, completely covers it. Now it's good. It's not even seen. It's not even seen. But he whispered when he was tying it on my hand, Kankanam Kattunandra, I'm tying a bond with you, he said. Perhaps that was the excuse. I don't know. But looking at it from a drama point of view, there wasn't even a necessity for that that level of integrity or authenticity. But that is what he was looking for in every character. That is what he was looking for in everything that he did. That level of integrity was so deep and so pure. So when we talk of unity in thought, word and deed, we need to look nowhere else other than Swami. Everything he speaks in his discourse, please listen to his discourse because they come from the depth of that integrity. And I say that from a physical point of view. I know you're going to say, but he is God, he will do it. Yes, I do agree. But watching him as a human being, for me, is more relatable. I relate to him as a human being, and to me, that's so much more. I would rather see him again and again as a human, because in that humanness, I saw divinity. I discovered God in that humanness of Swami. If he had walked through walls, if he had levitated the whole night, if he had not slept, and if he had breathed, flames and did all of that, I would have perhaps lost connection. I would have just walked home saying, he can do, who am I? I'm a poor little guy, and walked away. But then he showed what you can do if you truly believe in who you are. I saw him working day in and day out, paying attention to these little details. It was the same thing and these were gifts I got, right? So and so with many boys, each of us have these little stories, each story pointing to a fantastic, it opens a window into this divine personality. So it's never tiring to listen to boys and their stories and how they got this gift from Swami or that gift from Swami. The 65th birthday drama that I said, unity, purity, and divinity, there was another proud Pandit that I was in that. I was doing the Hari Katha at that time. And I was doing a singing, and brother Bala Subramaniam, or Balu as we call him, he's now the national president of the Global Council in USA. He was an amazing artist. He's very humorous, and he can really sing like Swami, speak like Swami. He's very talented. And so as a young boy, we said Swami would love to see him in action because he was very talented in acting. So he was my chela. Chela is like, the guy, a fan, who will, in the Bhagavatar, when they say something, then his disciple has to say, oh, ah, like that. Kind of just pump him up. So he did a fantastic job. And so our scene was really entertaining for Swami. Again, Sattvic villainy, right? Swami had a ball. He comes in, you'll see that scene, he laughed so much. I would sing a song, I look at him and he'll do, wonderful, wonderful. And Swami will just laugh so much, we'll have tears in his eyes. He becomes like a small child, It's very beautiful to watch him that. He just enjoys it like a three-year-old would do. And therefore, that was the scene. Then again, on November 21st evening, he is calling me, and this was 65th birthday. So you can imagine the pressure that Swami would have had as doing all of these programs and other things that's already there. We are just focused on one drama. But he had so many other things going on. He calls me and he says, "Nu Harikatha chesnav kada." He was doing Harikatha. Harikatha is, the guy speaks and sings. So I'm speaking of Harish Chandra Chakravarti and how great he was and all of that. So that was that scene there. So you're doing all that. And every time you have been, the Harikatha Pandits, they have something called Chitikalu in Telugu, Chaplakata you will say in Tamil. I don't know any other language. I don't know what they call it in New Zealand. But it's two little wooden things with, so it kind of keeps the beat. And you just put it in these fingers. It's a very beautiful instrument. So I was just pretending to do this and sing. Because again, it was a drama. We are so far out on the stage and it didn't matter. So Swami calls me 2 days before and he says, do you have that? It never struck me that I need to have or get one. But where do we even go in Puttaparthi to get one like that, right? So I looked at Swami and I was so scared that Swami will get upset because it's 2 days. Swami, I said, I don't know. I didn't have one. Do not put it like this, Wait, he said. So he's called me into the interview room in the evening. And he asked me this, as if it just, I've got so many things. Okay, do you have that thing? You don't? No, wait. And he goes up, he comes back with one pair. He said, this is mine. I used it when I was young. Keep it carefully. And I treasure that. I treasure that. That is there in some of the very old pictures of Swami, where he's used that. I couldn't believe it. Be careful, it's mine. He's like, should I give this guy or not? I was so touched that Swami gave me that. I used it for the drama, of course. Nobody even knew whether that was important or not. It was such a small little thing. But Swami wanted to see that Harikatha Pandit with playing, everything was perfect in his eyes. In his eyes, it had to be perfect. It was the little things that he paid attention to. To me, that is divinity. It is not the big things. It's not the big lectures that I give here in front of you that gives me that confidence and to peep in. It's when I'm alone. What are the quality of my thoughts? Where am I? Am I able to face my own fears? Am I able to come face to face with who I am? Am I able to open my mind and accept? When I talk to somebody, am I able to not judge the person in front of me, either good or bad or anything? Just accept the person as they are and interact with them. Am I able to receive a situation just as it comes without any inbuilt resistance? Because all of those is what helps me, not this lecture, because this is a portrayal. Everybody is in their best behavior. You find the ideal size student in Sunder Iyer. Am I one? Only I will know. But I will know it. And I know it when I pay attention to details. And I know my weaknesses when I don't have time for the details. And I say, I'm too tired to take care of that. But then those lessons come to my mind. And I take that one little extra effort and put take care of that little spider that's crawling up the wall, if you will. It is in one of these same plays. Swami came and saw the final rehearsal. I ran to Swami's car, and I was standing by Swami's car just as he would get by, because by then all the boys would have lined up. Swami is leaving the rehearsal and coming out of the college auditorium, and I'm there waiting for any last-minute instructions from Swami. So I open the car door for him. He's about to get in. He sees a small little hole in my shirt. I might have, scraped it somewhere. I don't know. And he says, hey, he puts his finger in it, laughingly. And I'm just sheepishly, oh, Swami. I smiled and I stood. I was just happy that he's happy with me. My mind is, we are so focused on one thing, we interpret everything from only that angle, right? Is Swami happy with the drama? Is Swami happy with the drama? Is he going to be? So I'm like, okay, good, Swami is happy. He just, made fun of me and went. So he's happy. And I thought that was the end of the story. That should be, ideally. The next day morning, 22nd morning, this is November 23rd. Now is his birthday. And you have the president and all of them already there in the veranda. The place is agog with excitement. Next day morning on 22nd, he's opening the door. He comes out. There's a brown paper bag in his hand. He comes out. He steps into the interview room opens, and he can step into the bhajan hall where we boys will be sitting. And some of us are always there to receive any last-minute instruction. So he comes there and he says, Iyer ekada? Where is Iyer? And I was sitting a few rows back. I got up. Come here, he said. I went. And by the time it's about 20 feet away, he just flung the brown envelope. He says, there's a shirt piece. Get a shirt stitched. I didn't understand why me. What does this shirt got to do with the drama that is tonight? Then I opened it. I saw the white shirt. Then it struck me, oh my gosh, it was that little torn thing that bothered him. And I realized he doesn't have an assistant who's sitting in the front desk down in the interview room and says, Baba, you told me to remind you about the shirt for Sunder Iyer. You want me to get it for you from cupboard A, B, or you want terracotta cotton? I wish he had that. That made his life more easier. But no, he did everything. Everything was in his head. So I know he would have remembered that. Opened the cupboard, picked up the sink. Maybe he would have asked somebody there for a brown envelope, and he would have put it and brought it all the way down to give it to me. I wasn't at any point, neither was my father, any kind of big donor. If any of you have any thoughts, maybe these guys were VIPs. No, we didn't. My father wanted to donate a mere 25,000 rupees. I still have that check and the letter that Swami wrote, my father wrote to Swami, a 20,000 rupees check and a 5,000 rupees check. And a letter saying, Baba, please give us a room in your ashram. And Swami had already told he'll give him a room, but maybe my father thought if I also donate, then maybe I might get a better chance of getting a room. I don't know what it was in his mind. He was very new then. By then he had already given up his job and he settled in Puttaparthi later on. And so he had that. I didn't even know he had these thoughts, because if he had asked me, I would have said, don't play this money game with Swami, it won't gel well. But he didn't ask me, because he knew I would have said no. So he himself decided, I'm going to take care of that. So he wrote this letter, he put the check and everything, and he gave it to Swami for darshan, or he sent it up. I don't know how he did it. But the next morning, Swami came with that envelope, with that little cover in his hand. He threw it at me. Pack your baggage and get out from here. I was like, what did I didn't write any letter. What is this? He said, go and tell your father, and all of you all pack your baggage and go. Did I ask you for money? What is this nonsense? And in Telugu, it just went on and on. Did I ask you? I know whom to ask and where to get it. And he was so angry that I was so shocked. And then I went home and I opened this and I told my dad, don't do this, please. So it wasn't like we had donated some big amounts of money that Swami took special care. No, this is a story of one boy. There are the hundreds of boys like this, and each of them, hundreds of devotees like this, at a physical level. And when I come here and meet you, and there are so many of your stories, there's little ways he took care. Perhaps there was not a physical contact, but there was a divine way he showed you signs. There are divine visions you get in your home. There are divine dreams he comes and communicates. They are as real as what I'm sharing. So don't, in your mind, in your conditioned mind, decide that yours was better than mine. No, it just cannot happen. In spirituality, we don't compare. We learn from each other's experiences. Every experience is as important as the other because it's your personal one. And you know that experience connected you with the divine. But for us, for those who have not seen this part of Swami, it's my honor to share this part of Swami, the simple Swami, the one who was working hard towards his mission. That's the Swami I saw in that phase. If you ask Brother Satyajit, who saw him in another phase, he will have even more beautiful stories to share. It's not his stories versus mine. It's a different phase of Swami, a different exposure to Swami, a different view of the same beautiful lake. You see it from different. You look at it from between the trees from here. It's beautiful. You'll come to my cabin. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. That was a Swami I saw. That was a Swami I began to believe. I wasn't a believer. I didn't even know he was. I was curious about everything about Sai Baba. My friends had stories about him. My parents, the other parents had stories about him. But my parents and me, we were all very new. So that curiosity gave way to admiration. That admiration gave way to love. That love gave way to devotion. And I'm learning still the step to surrender. But the more I give him room in my life and allow him to take decisions, in other words, I take my decisions in his light. What would Swami do here? How would he have reacted if I had placed this? And so I allow him to decide for me. In other words, his influence, his teachings guide my life. When I allow his light, that's why when I say Swami takes decisions, that's what I mean. So when I allow that to happen, it takes a big burden off me. It challenges my greatest fears, but never even once have I regretted any of those decisions. Never have I ever made a wrong decision when it was in his light. Not even for a fraction of a second have I had a chance to regret, oh my gosh, maybe I should have been more practical, maybe I should have done this. He doesn't give you a chance. He just wants you to take that one step in his path, and he will hold your hand and take 1,000 steps towards you and 1,000 steps with you. He never lets go of you. You know that. I'm preaching to a courier here. I was sitting with him on one chair. He said, even if you let me go, he was telling us, even if you let me go, I will not let you go. In the context of somebody who had left Swami, and then Swami is saying, let him go, I will not let him go. None of you I will let you go, he said. And I was sitting next to Swami, so he held my hair, because I'm giving him a tough time now, but because I have nothing that he can hold on to. He held my hair. He held my hair and shook. Juttu patkantanra. Juttu patkantan means I'll hold the tuft of your hair. I will never let you go. Nu vadaliste kani, even if you let go, I will not let you go. And shook me. I was like, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to those words. I'm grateful to those words. And so are we. I think once we come into his fold, there is no reason to step out of the fold, right? You find a family, you find joy, you get to play volleyball, you get to do bhajans. Oh my gosh. You get the depths of deep spiritual experience and connection with God, and you share that in your joyous way, whatever that means, in community, in family setup. Wherever I go, I've seen the Sai family truly being a family. Somebody else's child becomes your child, somebody else's parent becomes your parent. You're rushing to help them, to go to India if they need to go. Everything that is done, it's not only here, but it's everywhere, it's universal. Why didn't Swami have encourage centers and being bought at that time? Because I think the beauty he has said, let people open their doors, their homes to strangers. How many homes open their doors to strangers when they organize a bhajan? Anybody and everybody who says Sai Ram, walk in, right? Eventually you get to know them, but there are a lot of first timers who just walk in, who see on Google, oh, there's a Sai Bhajan, and then somebody makes a call to somebody, yeah, come there, just come, just walk in, you know. And then you're walking into a stranger's home, and everything in your home is in the respective places. Nobody hides things, anything. It's just a Sai home. Where is that spirit ever encouraged at any time in history? People used to go to community centers that were temples. They used to go to halls to get together. Nobody's home became a temple. But with Swami, he did this grassroots movement where he gave an opportunity for every home to be a temple. Every home to be a temple. You just say Sai Ram and you have the visa to walk into any home. Those are the greatest of Swami's miracles, in my humble opinion. And therefore, he is much, much more than a miracle man. And my earnest plea to Sai devotees everywhere is, don't let us not reduce this divine teacher, this divine consciousness on 2 feet, if you will, to a superman, a miracle man. Let us not be so focused on the little trinkets that he gave, or the little vibhutis that he gave, or the little miracles that appear here and miracles appear there, and we talk only about the miracles. And when it comes to teaching and exploring his teachings and diving deep into what he spoke, we miss that. Because why? Because we have convinced ourselves in wearing this cloak of devotion. It's only a cloak, I think, because we no, Swami will take care of all that. I don't have time to listen to his discourses. I will go. In other words, you're saying, I don't have time for that. And somehow thinking it's devotion. I'm afraid it's not. Then Swami would have just shown us only Leelas, right? He would have not spoken and given discourses. He would not written the lovely Vahinis that help us introspect so much. He would not have encouraged study circles and community gatherings. He would have said, everybody be in your home, I'll take care of you all. Go home. The teachings of Swami are so important. In 1990, I say this like a wise man now, but I wasn't wise at all. Even after spending 10, 12 years with Swami, he took us to Kodaikanal. And I spoke continuously every day for almost 60 days in Swami's presence. You just look at me, it'll do an indication I have to get up and speak. I was really running out of matter. Anyway, we'll keep that for another occasion. There were many experiences during that time. We have time till 6 o'clock? Okay. We have many experiences there. But in the context of what I'm saying here is, we finished that Kodaikanal tour. That was one of the very early times when Swami started taking boys to Kodaikanal, because it was getting very hot and devotees would not leave Puttaparthi. Why would Swami go to Kodaikanal? Not for his benefit, but because if he stayed in Puttaparthi, devotees would gather. And it's 40, 42 degrees centigrade right now there. It's extremely hot. You all know it, right? And so Swami would say, I don't want the devotees to go through this. Even Bangalore was getting hot. So he said, I will go somewhere where only few can come. Others will say, we'll see Swami in Bangalore and stay back. And he is literally wanted to not encourage people travel in May, in holidays, because tickets were expensive, the weather was hot, and it was more discomfort. He was only looking at it from that point of view. So he decided to disappear from the horizon with a handful of boys, which was good for us. Anyway, so we did this trip and came back to Vrindavan after about 45, 60 days, and Swami asked 4 of us to speak. What did you learn for 60 days? Chapandi, he asked, sitting on the Jula in Sri Vrindavan. And he expected each boy to tell some beautiful lessons they learned in Kodaikanal. All of us spoke. I can speak for myself here. I spoke about how we slept just outside Swami's bedroom. I spoke about how Swami gave us toothbrushes and came and checked our toilet. Kids say, open your toilet. Chi. Old, such an old toothbrush. You're still using. Throw it out. Give a new toothbrush. And you want to know what soap we are using. And we're all huddling behind, there are 30 boys behind 5, 6 bathrooms with a towel. Hey, come on, guys, fast. We have to wait. Swami's going to come out. And he opens the door and, chi. What is all this nonsense, you guys? Go have a shower. And, it was such a moment of just having him part of our household, literally living with him in his house. So those are the things we shared. I shared, my brother shared, 2 or 3 others. Swami sat listening, everybody enjoyed it. And then Swami, that evening went by. Next day morning, he called the 4 of us. He said, I told you to speak about what you learned. And is this what you learned? Swami gave me toothbrush. Swami gave me toothpaste. Swami in a towel. These are the kind of stories you tell people? We didn't even know. And then he said, I spoke to you every evening for 2 months. What did I speak to you? None of you spoke about what I spoke to you. Did that have no value? That is such a powerful lesson. We are so caught up in who touched Swami and who got a picture from Swami and who got a ring from Swami and who got a watch from Swami, and it's like, oh my God, make such a big deal. But here is he's spoken to us directly through his discourses, and we have volumes of wisdom for us to ponder, introspect, study, analyze, accept or reject. He's given us that, and we miss the boat. What do? We wait for the next avatar to come. When is Prema Sai coming? Did Swami say anything about Prema Sai? I'm like, why? What are you going to do? Chase again Prema Sai and take pictures and videos and touch his robe and do the same old drama? And that was a time we realized how important it was that we pay attention to his words. And he has written Vahinis. He has spoken so much. My dear brothers, sisters, I know you already do these study circles and all that. Dive more deeply into that. Even you take a paragraph a day, read it with your family, ask, what do you make? What do you take home? Just like, you say, what do you take home today after this talk or after this satsang? Small little things. Let us take home and revisit it and keep taking home little gems. Those little gems will fill our coffer inside. The spiritual heart will be filled. Trust me. It doesn't have to be a once in a week. It doesn't have to be mega meetings. You don't have to embarrass yourself by offering some analogy which nobody else likes. It is small little discussions with your spouse, with your children, with yourself. As you go in the car, listen to a talk. You don't have to finish it one end to the other. Listen to a little bit and drive the rest of the time thinking about what you heard. What does that mean to me today? What is that message? What do I take home from that? That kind of introspection, that kind of churning is what truly causes spiritual growth. You might think it's constantly churning, but that churning makes the soil fertile, correct? It's only constant churning, but churning is all that you need. Things start coming out from that. That is why in the ocean, the churning of the ocean is a symbolic story. The good and the evil, the pros and the cons, the ones that the mind that accepts it, the mind that rejects it, the churn, the ocean. That churning is required because from that Lakshmi comes, from that Amrit comes, from that poisonous things also come. Because in that churning you suddenly come face to face with your own weaknesses. Oh my gosh, I need to watch out. If this is what Swami said, then I need to work on that part of it. Maybe there's a small little addiction. Maybe I talk too much and Swami spoke on silence, or whatever it is. We take home, we've come face to face with our demons. And then those are gems. There are those little nectarine wisdom, pearls of wisdom that stay with us inside, deep in our subconscious. It goes, settles, and helps us recreate a new reality. My dear sisters, brothers, as devotees of Swami and as a student of Swami, one of the greatest gifts, and I'll end this with a beautiful story as to how I learned this. One of the greatest gifts that we have, the tool that we have to communicate, is silence. There is a magic in silence. There is a power in Namasmarana. There is tremendous power in Japa. There is a great deal of energy when we sing together. There is a lovely energy like this as we exchange stories and listen to inspiring talks and so on and so forth. All that is fine. But when we go home and sit, we ruminate, we think, we introspect, again, wonderful. But there must be certain moments where you simply sit in silence. Because it is in the depths of that silence the voice of God is heard. How did I know this? In my early days, as I had done my yoga performance in front of Swami for the inauguration, I did the Bhangra dance. I was part of the Bhangra dance, and I did some yoga on the rope, and Swami was so happy. I did some 5 feats and so on, and Swami asked my name. He started encouraging me to teach everyone yoga, not on the rope, but regular yoga. So I started looking for anything Swami would say about yoga. Suddenly that door had opened in me. I didn't realize at that point that it was many lifetimes of learning had to culminated here. Now I know without any doubt. But so my interest in yoga suddenly grew because that was my door to Swami, correct? He saw me in that light, and therefore I wanted to get more and more close to him. And therefore I started reading. There was only Swami Shivananda's books available in the library at that time. There weren't too many books. So I read them again and again, and I would pay attention to what Swami would say, anything related to meditation, sitting straight, sitting silent, or doing anything like that. And one afternoon when he came to the hostel, he spoke about the Soham pranayama. Very beautifully Swami explained about Soham. Swami said, your breath has the greatest mantra, and that mantra is Soham. So is Sat, Sat, So. Sa is all, anything in Sanskrit with Sa is related to divine. Sat, So, Su as in Sunder. So Sat. So is that. Hum is I. That I am, that I am, that I am. Swami says, so hum. He made us all do this. So listening to his voice, I have it very vivid in my memory. We all did it together. So hum. So breathe in, breathe in the big I, and let the hum, the little I, go away. So breathe in the big I, the little I goes away. And that kind of inner cleansing happening with the breath, that kind of mantra, the Hamsa Gayatri as it's called, Soham Hamsa Gayatri that it is called. There are many interpretations of the Soham mantra on YouTube even to this day, but I don't really care for, because I got this from Swami and I'm happy with where I am. So, because just in case you come back and say, but this Swamiji said that and that Swamiji said that, I'm sorry, I don't. Once my Swamiji said, that's good enough for me. And therefore, I practiced this Soham, and it clicked with me when I heard it from Swami. I said, okay, I must practice this. And those days, whenever I do a new practice, I always look for some indication from Swami. Like, if this is good practice, Swami, should I continue? Because he didn't do any initiations and all of that, right? In a very subtle way, he might indicate. There's sometimes in some asanas, I was trying very hard, and he just came up to me and said, violin, if the violin is too tight, it will break. Too loose, no music. Keep it steady. Keep it steady. Don't go very tight. And he walks away. And those kind of things. And other boys, next to me, hey, when did you start learning violin? When did you learn? So there were very subtle moments like these, conversations like that with Swami. And so I was looking for something like that for Soham Pranayama. I said, I'm going to practice Soham. Today is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday if I practice. Thursday is my class. We get to go right in the front. And so I can sit right in the front and Swami will perhaps indicate to me. Those days are the days when Swami would talk to me almost every day. So I practiced 3 days, very hard, Soham Pranayama. Morning, night, I didn't speak to anyone. It was just Soham. I enjoyed it so much. And came Thursday, and I stood first in the line, and we went for darshan. As I'm going for darshan, I'm thinking, Swami, I practiced this really hard. You told me I practiced. It's not something I picked up from Shivananda's book or Yogananda's book or something. It's just you told me I practiced. You have to show me a sign. And I don't want any ordinary sign. Look at this is where now I become audacious, right? We take it for granted. Even Swami took for, if you just come and stand in front of me, that's not a sign. I would do anything today to get that. If you look at me, that's not a sign. I want something out of the world, something I've never done before. I'm walking for darshan. I need that real sign that this is my path. You have to show me something out of the world. And I was so sure I'm going to get it, right? So I'm going, and I sat right in front of the interview room door. There's a huge pillar. Next to the pillar, there's a birthday boy. And next to the birthday boy, I was sitting. If this was in Sister Kokila's house, I would have showed you exactly where it was. She has such a beautiful picture of the mandir, lifelike. Anyway, so I'm sitting next to the birthday boy. I'm very confident Swami is going to show me a smile because I did exactly what he said I'm supposed to. So Swami comes out, takes the birthday from the birthday boy, takes a tray of sweets and a handful of sweets, and he puts it, throws it around. Not even a single one falls on me. And I'm like, it's okay, cool. That's not the sign I was looking for anyway. Look at that. Vinashakale viparita buddhi. But there was a lesson at the end of it. The beauty of that silence is where I come to. And I had the chance to share this story with Swami next to me, sitting in Kodaikanal. So I looked at Swami, and Swami didn't even look at me. He looked at the boy, asked him his name and so on. He looked at the other boy next to me, and he looked behind me, and then he started walking for his darshan rounds. He goes and he starts picking up a big interview, people. So I'm like, oh gosh, this interview crowd is big. That means it'll be 2 hours. That's our usual, like a weather forecast. We'll forecast. Will Swami come for bhajans today? Will it be towards the end of the bhajans, or he would come before? Accordingly, we'll plan even bhajans, because if it's a big group, hey, Swami won't come for a while. We can slip in this new bhajan, and Swami is not sitting on the chair. There were degrees how we would slip in the bhajan into that. So that, anyway, that's a different story. I don't want to get distracted. But we had to forecast. So I was forecasting mentally. This is a big group, so it will take at least an hour and a half, and then bhajans will start. So there's no way I can sit here. I have to be in the bhajan hall. And bhajan hall, what kind of sign it will be? You might just look at me. I wanted that magical sign. And so I started getting nervous. And so I started, quote unquote, praying. Swami, please, show me that sign, show me that sign. And the crowd became bigger, and by the time he was finishing his darshan and coming back, finishing the Jain side and coming back to the veranda, I started saying, you know what, maybe it was too much I asked for this big signs and all that. I said, okay, Swami, just show something. Because I'm now nervous. It's not my own drama, right? Poor Swami had nothing to do with it. It's my own drama. From that big sign, I'm compromised. I'm like, okay, just, you know what, just look at me or do something, Swami. Don't ignore me. Because suddenly that possibility that Swami would ignore me hit me hard. What if he ignores me? I never thought of it. I just took it for granted. He's going to anyway look, and that's not a big deal. And so he comes and he stands in front of me, and he talks to a boy two rows behind. And he's asking him from where. That boy says from Assam, and Swami is telling some VIPs, Assam, go call your parents. That boy is calling. I remember that vaguely. But Swami is standing there. I'm saying, Swami, please look down. Please, Swami, don't ignore me. This is my sadhana. I need a sign. Please, just look down isn't good enough. One glance, Swami, that's good enough. Now I've come down to that one glance. Like the Madras cops, that they stop you sometimes for speeding, and they want some bribe, and they'll ask for a big bribe. You'll say, I'm not going to give. Do what you want. Okay, give something for tea and coffee. They used to, not now. They probably don't do that. They'll say, at least give something for my coffee and go, But initially they'll be like, oh, big fine, 1,000 rupees. I don't have 1,000 rupees to give you. You call whom you want. Okay, sir, one coffee, you give me something, 50 rupees and go, It used to be back in the days. I don't know how it is now. Nevertheless, this is how it happened. So from that big magical sign that I wanted, truly wanted, to this, okay, at least look down, Swami, please look down. So here is what it is. Swami is standing so close to me, and I'm sitting and looking up. I can literally look into his nostrils. That close he was. And I'm saying, Swami, please, please, please look down. You don't need to be a god to know somebody staring at you like that. Correct? Am I right? Am I right? You stand somebody and somebody is doing like this. You'll be like, oh gosh, okay, am I coming in your way? What's going on? You will feel it. You'll feel the heat. You'll feel that person staring. I was literally like that. Swami, in my head, I was going. So praying. I'm saying it within quotes because it's an important thing. Sometimes we bring so much emotion into our prayer. Does God really listen to that? To me, I'm going to share my lesson. I'm not going to tell you how to pray. But I want to share that lesson. And so I was, and Swami didn't seem to know, it almost like there was a blank there. He didn't even seem to recognize my presence. And to my shock, he turned away and started going into the interview room. And he opens the door, he lets people in. And I'm looking at Swami, Swami, please, Swami, don't do this to me, please, I'm sorry, you know, all that. And so there is a particular angle when Swami closes the door. Sometimes when he's in a good mood, as he shuts the door, he'll look like this, and if he sees the boys, he'll do like this, and or he'll do like this. It depends on his mood. So boys will particularly choose that particular angle to sit. It may not be the first row, but I can see the interview room from there. So everybody look up for that one glimpse, if it's possible. Not every day, once in a while. Quite often though, Swami would entertain the boys like that. So I thought maybe while closing, he might give one look and shut the door. All right, I take pity on you, you miserable creature. Yeah, all right. I wanted that. So I was saying, Swami, 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 Swami. And to my shock, nothing happened. He shut the door. The birthday boy gets up. I slid to the corner just to take a few moments because I know this is going to be a long interview. I had to fight my tears. I became so disappointed. All that energy drained of me. That energy of Swami, please, 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 Swami, and all of that drained. I just put my head down. And there was a moment when there was complete silence. Not because I consciously wanted to be silent, but I was too tired. Just the long exhalation. Click, I heard the sound of the knob, the door opening. The next what happened was very fast. I didn't have time to re-gear that prayer engine back again. Swami, 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 Swami. You know, I didn't have that energy. And this happened so fast. The door opens and Swami walks. And he's now standing next to me, not looking at me. He comes, and apparently a lady in that group was missed out. So he comes and he shows his hand, and there's a lady, he tells her to come, and the lady is walking. And then he's telling her, lazy, lazy, you know. So I'm just looking up and looking at Swami. Now this mind is completely blank. I'm looking at Swami. He calls the lady goes into the room because Swami lets her go in first. And then Swami has to follow behind and shut the door. But just before he does that, he turns to me. He had materialized vibhuti inside. So his fingertips were full of vibhuti. He looks back, he turns around, and on my forehead he puts vibhuti with his thumb. He applies it and just walks inside, shuts the door. I shared this with Swami next to me, and I said, when I thought I was praying, he didn't hear my prayer. When I stopped praying, he heard my prayer. And I said this, it was because of that silence that he heard your innermost desire. Because there was a desire for this amazing sign. I don't know what that sign was. Give me something out of the world. If I was given a list, I wouldn't have put this, apply vibhuti on my forehead. As I wouldn't even have thought of that. That was such an amazing thing that Swami did. I wouldn't have listed that among all the lists of amazing signs I would have thought, fantasized. This was far beyond even my wildest imagination. I didn't know what it was. I wanted it. But I didn't get it when I asked for it, when I prayed for it. I was so immersed in what I wanted that I and want was overwhelming me. And the product was not there in the consciousness for it to manifest. When Swami would say, I want peace, remove the want first, remove the I. What do you have? Peace. That is exactly that. I didn't understand this. We hear about it in theory, but when it comes to something we really want in life, like a praying for a child or praying for somebody else or praying for ourselves or a difficult situation, we think sitting and yearning and crying and pleading and throwing a tantrum at the altar, somehow we'll get it. Maybe it will. Maybe it will. But that moment I learned this beautiful lesson. That is all about you. Give me a chance to fulfill what you want. You're so caught up in what you want, you're not giving me a chance to even fulfill it. Swami, give me this, Swami, give me this, Swami, give me this. When I stopped and my mind was quiet, in that silence, the voice was heard. And so I ended my talk saying, this is what I understand from Swami is saying, it is only in the depths of silence that the voice of God can be heard. And I said that, finished it, and I took namaskar. Swami loved that story and he patted me. And as I got up, he looked at me. He said, and he repeated that same quote, looking at me. He said, yes, it is only in the depths of silence that the voice of God can be heard. But sir, he said, oh, there's a but to it, right? I was like, but sir, same depth of silence. God can also hear your voice. I can also hear your voice, only in silence. He hears our voice in silence. We don't have to speak to him. A child cries, the mother knows the language of that. The child doesn't have to spell it out to the mother why he or she is crying for. Why are they cranky? You know that as parents, correct? For an onlooker like me who doesn't have kids, they're like, oh gosh, this child is constantly crying. But this mother knows why they're crying. It's different reasons. The stock market goes up and down. Somebody who doesn't know the stock market, and what is this? Just graph is going like this. But every time it goes up, there's a reason. Every time it comes down, there's a whole different reason. And there are different reasons for that change, for the fluctuation. In silence, when we are sitting in silence, the voice of God is heard. He hears our voice. We hear his voice. The guidance comes in silence. And like everything else, my dear sisters and brothers, we need to practice. Practice silence. We are so addicted today to sound. We are so addicted to conversations. We are addicted to thinking that the only way to silence ourselves is when we fall asleep. We don't know silence other than that. Do we? But Swami is waiting at your doorstep to give you that best interview in that silence. There's a chance for the intuition to awaken and connect with him. Answers are known, answers are felt, prayers are answered when that complete trust and surrender, there is silence. So you might ask, and I'll end up in 2 minutes. You might say, but what if the situation is so extreme and I'm so stressed about it? What I do in my practice after that is when there seems to be a situation out of my control, I take that situation as it is, and I say, Swami, I'm offering this to your feet. You are a better architect because you architect the whole universe. You know how to figure this out. I don't. I will do it from a standpoint of fear or self-preservation, and I'll make all the mistakes that I did. So you take care of it. I trust your decision more than mine. And I truly hand over that situation to him. I will still make efforts, Swami, to the best extent I can, but I leave it to you because I know you will take care of the outcome. And whatever your outcome is, I'm okay with it. We need to have that trust in the process. Not that we shouldn't take any efforts, but then you take the efforts but leave the outcome. Trust the universal consciousness. Trust the Sai energy that orchestrates the whole universe. Can it not fix your little problem, whatever that is, however complicated it is? And believe me, oh my gosh, things which we never thought could happen has manifested in our lives. Not at the time and the way we wanted, but far better than what we wanted. And at the perfect time when it should be, that only the Divine Parent knows. And I say this from my heart. Trust the process. Trust that process of surrender. It's a beautiful power. The power to let go. Let go and let God. Don't tell him what to do. Let go and let God. Let go, let God. Sai Ram.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti